We have got some fantastic news this morning for some of your favorite altcoins. And in today's video, we're going to cover what that is. The big news headline is that the SEC is giving up its witch hunt on several of your favorite altcoins, no longer deeming them as securities. We're going to cover what the details of that news is. We're going to go take a look at the charts and find out where the next great buying prices are going to be so you can load up on these altcoins before the bull market really gets cooking. So if you enjoy alt season, if you enjoy making money, go ahead and smash that like button. If you're newer here and you love crypto, make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss a single piece of content that we put out. But with that said, let's get into the video. First, we got to roll our intro. All right, let's go ahead and just dive on into the article here this morning. This is coming out from Cointelegraph. SEC backs down on claiming Solana, Cardano, Matic, and other tokens are securities in the Binance suit. Getting into the details, United States Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, is no longer asking a court to decide and deem the tokens named in its lawsuit against crypto exchange Binance as securities. On July 30th, the SEC filed a response to the court's minute order on July 9th, 2024. In the filing, the SEC wrote that it seeks to amend its complaint regarding the third-party crypto asset securities defined in its opposition to Binance's motion to dismiss. You guys can look at on this article on Cointelegraph, you guys can look at what they actually wrote. In a nutshell, this just means the government agency no longer asks the court to decide whether the affected tokens are securities. So are they saying the exact words? They're not securities, no, but the only complaint up to this point that says that they are securities is this lawsuit, and they've now just amended it saying, hey, remember when we were trying to accuse those coins of being securities? Yeah, we're going to scratch that. Don't consider that part anymore. If you're asking what coins those are, for right now, some of the biggest ones you need to keep an eye on: BNB, Binance USD, Solana, Cardano, Polygon, which is Matic, Cosmos, Sandbox, Decentraland, Axie Infinity, and Cody. For the video today, we're going to focus on the charts of some of the three of the biggest community ones, though: Solana, Cardano, and Matic. But if you are a holder of any of these coins, this could be a bullish release coming in the future. I'm going to tell you guys right now, before we get going any further in this article, let me go to my full screen here. This does not mean we're going to just shoot up into the right today. I'm going to show you the charts. I'm going to show you that pullbacks will more than likely look like they're still coming. But what are those buying levels you want to take advantage of? We'll be covering that here in just a couple of minutes. But let's finish this article, and then we'll get into those charts. These tokens are just a part of a bigger list of tokens that the SEC believes to be securities. In June of 2023, the SEC claimed that at least 68 tokens were securities, affecting more than $100 billion worth of cryptocurrencies in the market. Yeah, we've had some rallies come since then, but ultimately this was a big blow to the altcoin space as a whole, and a lot of coins really have never recovered. Now that this pressure is off, this could be a big catalyst for future bullish price action. Ultimately, though, let's close with this, the interesting detail of the timing of this. The SEC retracting its request to issue a ruling following the presidential candidate's attempt to win over pro-crypto U.S. voters. Of course, President Orange Man right here, he pledged at the Bitcoin conference and weeks before that he would be a president for the people. But of course, we have the new Democratic nominee. We're calling her Vice President Unburdened. She contacted recently crypto companies to repair the party ties in the crypto industry. Also of note, you guys should know about Orange Man, while speaking at the Bitcoin conference, did promise that on day one of presidency, if he were elected, he would be firing Gary Gensler. So I don't believe Gary Gensler and the SEC are looking to make this move to help out old Orange Man. However, there's rumors that if Vice President Unburdened is elected, that potentially Gary Gensler might find himself as Secretary of the Treasury. So the timing Timing's a little interesting here, everybody. Make sure you stay connected to the channel. We'll continue as this unfolds to let you know what is happening in the space. With that said, though, I'm going to set up my charts here. Let's go ahead and take a look at the charts. This is bullish news for these coins. We're going to talk about Solana, Cardano, and Matic, but what does it mean about future price action? Before I get going, let's start off in Solana. We're going to talk more heavily, not so much about where we're going, even though I think in the next couple of weeks or months, we will see Solana eclipsing $300 based off of a breakout opportunity here. Let's talk about where you probably can be scooping some Solana up. And that's because out here on the daily chart, we are going to start to see a couple of bearish signs on the charts. We got to start by actually looking at the oscillator, where we are seeing a pretty aggressive level of excessive buyers, but they're beginning to leave the space. We've seen a red reversal, we've seen bearish momentum, and now this monstrous money flow, it is finally coming to the downside. That bright green area right in there, that's excessive buyers. They're leaving. This means the price is about to fall back down. How far? We're going to take a look at that in a second. But the historical precedence of this chart on the daily chart for Solana, we don't get this high on money flow or excessive buyers that frequently. The last time we saw this much was all the way back in September of 2021. And now, while that didn't mark the top perfectly of the bull market, it did have a pretty severe pullback during that time period. Am I saying that Solana is going to fall and it's a bear market? No, I am not. But I am saying that I think that we're going to be cooling off here on Solana before we can pick up more strength, especially even based off of this news. But let's take a look on the charts where those levels could be. The other thing you should know is that we did here more recently hit our take profit from Lux Algo on the daily chart. So it is, again, time to cool off. There's two levels that I'm keeping an eye on, and I'm ultimately going to tell you both of these levels are going to be good buying action. If you have dry powder, I would probably, if you have dry powder and you want to buy more Solana, let's be clear about that. If you don't need to add more Solana to your portfolio, you probably need to discard this part of the video, skip forward to when we talk about other coins. But if you are looking to add more Solana, I would recommend potentially a little bit right here. We do have some strong support at about 173. This is what we call a bullish order block, and it's a very good one. It also comes into confluence with that descending level of resistance. We could be retesting that as support once again. We're talking about levels around 170. Let's just call it 171 to 175. That zone is going to be an area, at least some buying is happening. Will all of the buying pressure happen at that level? That's to be seen, but there will be some buying at that level. The other point that I'm looking at here is going to be between let's call it 160 because it's still climbing, but between 160 and possibly 166, 167. That's another zone where we probably will see the smart trail continue to climb. If price falls through this breaker block, this yellow box right here, we could find ourselves down closer to about 160. Before we move on Solana, though, this also the reason why I think that level potentially is possible. You do see here on 167, even down here towards 162, a take profit and an order block in play on the 4-hour chart for Solana. So keep that in mind. The other thing, though, the 4-hour chart does see some small support on 178. My guess, though, especially with seeing this more aggressive oscillator, the MACD looks like it wants to go bearish. We have room to fall on our RSI. My guess is we're going to be falling south of 170, making a push maybe towards the middle of 160. That's probably where I'm putting the majority of my Solana buys at the moment. Before we move on, though, keep an eye over here on the 7 days. 176 definitely looks like a nice level. They got some bright liquidity on the 7-day. Easily can fall to that level. If we were to come out to a little bit larger of a time frame, let's go 1 month here, though, because I don't think this pullback is going to be very long or very severe, but it is something we want to keep an eye on. There's a little bit of interest, like I said, right there on those middle 160s. 164 has got a little bit of a bright liquidity spot. While 150 is technically in play, I really doubt 150 comes in. We'll monitor that if we lose 164, 160. But for now, those two spots, 176 and 164, those are probably the most interesting spots for buying action on Solana. Let's keep moving on. Let's go into Cardano. If you're a Cardano bull, let's take a look at where you want to be buying here. This is probably one that might get the most bullish price action off this news. It was the one that still was suppressed ever since that news was executed. What we're wrestling with right now, I really do need to see Cardano. We said this before, and I'll say it again because we didn't conquer it back here earlier in July. We need to get above 45 cents to kind of really reclaim the strong bullish case for Cardano. Can it happen? Absolutely. Because when you turn off Luxalgo here for a second, you do see that we recently broke out of a bullish pattern called a falling wedge. And this could see Cardano price in the next couple of months or weeks getting back up towards 68 cents. No new all-time highs, nothing necessarily crazy, not even highs for this bull market, but just getting back up to respectable levels in more recent time. This would be very big for Cardano. However, while we aren't seeing the same aggressive bearishness that we saw on Solana, we aren't necessarily seeing overwhelming confidence on the oscillators just yet. And when you take a look at some of these lower time frames, you see the smart trail starting to go to the downside. I do believe we're going to be probably seeing Cardano fall back down to 38 cents, the level we were just at here back on the 25th. This kind of backed up when you take a look at the 4-hour chart, where right now we're under a sell order. We have a smart trail and order block and a take profit all coming in here at 38.5 cents. So would not be surprised whatsoever, even based off of looking at our oscillators, where again, we're not seeing overwhelming strength or buy signals just yet. Would not be surprised to see Cardano coming in down here towards 38 cents. Let's check out what High Block is saying from a liquidity standpoint, and then we'll move on to our final coin of the video, Matic. But right now, here we go. You will see, boom. Where are we getting some bright yellow right there, just below actually 38 cents? It says 38.87. Let's go to our 7-day. Maybe it'll give us a little more clarity on that. Yeah, the majority of that yellow coming in right at 38 cents. So kind of backing up, seeing some confluence right there. 38 cents, maybe a little bit, maybe a wick down a little bit lower into the 37s, but ultimately candle body closes above 38.5. That's what we're watching for in the future on Cardano. Final coin today. Let's take a look at Polygon Matic. Yes, the price is down. Yes, people are questioning the price action. If they're not paying attention to fundamentals, they're really wondering, is this coin going to make it back? Well, the team never stopped building. They're doing amazing things. Recent emergence of the Polygon, the Poly market has been brought some more hype to the coin, even if the price hasn't necessarily reflected. But similar to Cardano, guys, there's a breakout that's going to be coming here eventually. We're kind of taking this all the way to the end of this falling wedge pattern, but we could see Matic getting back up closer towards $1 in the next couple of weeks. We just need to see the big spark. What are we watching right now? So this is one it's one of the few coins that has not reconquered the daily smart trail, turning it from red to blue. So let's just start off there. We're under a buy order that could send price all the way back up closer towards 76 cents before we have any resistance. We need to conquer probably somewhere around 61, 62 cents and reconquer that smart trail to make sure we're bullish once again. But where are we sitting as far as oscillators are concerned? This one's actually a little bit different. This one, unlike Solana or Cardano, where we do see either weakness or we see a overbought Solana chart or a weak Cardano chart, we actually see a little bit more confidence when it comes to Matic. We've been wrestling with the 50 RSI. The MACD has a little room to grow, but on our Luxalgo oscillator, we recently did get our buy signal. We got our green momentum, and we have positive money flow. As a whole, this is more of a reason to suspect that Matic, as far as the daily chart, really doesn't have any further to drop to the downside. When I come to the 4-hour chart, we're wrestling with our smart trail right now, but we are under a buy order. I think this is one that potentially, again, seeing a lot of positivity on our oscillators. I think this is one that your better buy signal probably is sooner rather than later. I'm not seeing a lot of reason as to why we need to drop lower. We'll keep an eye maybe on the zone back at like 50 cents, give or take. But this is one that actually might be ready for a bigger breakout today and over the next couple of days. Look for a move on the short end to come up closer to 60 cents first. I think on the daily chart, we also talked about potentially over the next week or two, maybe a move up closer to 77. But over the next couple of weeks, I still believe $1 is possible for Matic in the future. Let's take a look real quickly before we leave the video at what we have going on. I don't know if you guys hear my son in the background. Brody is having a glorious time this morning. But I don't know if my mic picks that up or not. So kind of, yeah, what I was kind of saying here, is there a chance we have a small move back here towards 50 cents? There is, but there's a lot more liquidity above us. In fact, if I were to come out here, let's just say, for example, the 3-month chart, go take a nice wide view, almost nothing beneath us, everything to gain above us. So once again, Matic, even though could we pull back a little bit? possibly. As a whole, though, I see a lot more upside movement, and I think that the time is now to buy. But let me know in the comments, what do you guys think? Do you agree with my analysis? Do you disagree? Comment all that down below. Those are the buy signals that I'm looking at to purchase these 3 tokens. And with this amazing news coming from the SEC, I do believe these are coins that still have a very bright bull market ahead of them. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you smash a like, hit subscribe. Quick shout out to our sponsor of this video, though. It is Houdini Swap. If you guys are looking to swap tokens around, if you're looking to maybe get into some of these and you have some other crypto that you want to transfer, there's no better place to do it than Houdini Swap, especially not only since it's the cheapest, it's the fastest. It also, with this new update, the privacy version, boom, you can protect your privacy, protect your data and information. There's no better place to be swapping your crypto than Houdini Swap. Start using it today. There's a link down below. It is absolutely the best place to be swapping cryptocurrency. Try it today. With that said, guys, that's all I have for you in this video. I'll see you in the next one. Adios.